Hello and welcome to Amethyst Style Crafting. My name is Joyous Noel Glimmer and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we are going to make this really pretty little Christmas tag using the winter woods. I think it's absolutely gorgeous because you've got lovely little elements on it, but it's not too over the top in the bling stakes, as it were. And I think it would be perfect for masculine men, the guys in our life, for those sorts of presents. So let's get started, and I'll show you. As I say, we're using the winter woods. So we're using this stamp set here, which is the birch trees. We're using the little fir cone, the little sort of sprig, and we are using the dies. And the die we're using is, get these dies out. These dies are absolutely gorgeous. So we are using, you've got the lovely trees. We're using these two, which cut out lovely little filigree trees. And we are cutting out, the nice thing about what Stampin' Up has done recently is, with the fir sprig, they give you 3 of the same die, which means that you can cut out 3 at one time in one pass of your big shot. And with the fir cones, you get 2. So again, one pass, you can cut out 2, which I think is great because particularly if you're doing larger projects or you're bulk building, it means that you're not having to go backwards and forwards on your big shot. So I think it's a great thing that they've started to do. So those are the 2 sets that we need. And we need the tag topper punch. Tag topper punch, absolutely brilliant. You just take your piece of cardstock, which is 2 inches wide, slot it in there as far as it will go, and then just punch it. And it gives this lovely little tag top. So, as I say, a great punch that I'm using all the time. Now, we are also going to be using, and this is, oh my goodness, it is the Joyous Noel 6x6 inch glimmer paper. And you have 3 gorgeous colours. Now, you've got this one, which is a beautiful sort of greeny blue colour, which will tone in with so many different things. It's so sparkly. And then you've got a lovely red one, which I think is probably Merry Merlot, but it will tone in with most of our reds. Again, absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got this copper one, which, as I say, I absolutely love. And you can use every tiny little scrap of this. As you know, I use everything. So this is what we're using for this particular card. So I've done some of it in advance, as I always do, because it helps to save a little bit of time. And what we need to do is we need to take one of our tags. Now, I am going to round the corners on these tags. So I use the envelope punch board because it's really easy to use. There is a trio punch now, which you can round the corners of if you want to. Or if you've got the old corner rounder, you can use that, or anything that actually rounds corners. I just use my envelope punch board because I have it just above my desk in a little area, so I can bring it out quite easily. So we've now got nice little rounded corners on the bottom here. So let's take one of these tags and we're going to start to build up this lovely scene. Now I'm getting a piece of scrap, which is just a piece of copy paper, just to save my work surface. And we are going to take the lovely birch trees. And let me see, I need to put this onto a reasonable sized block. No, that's a bit thick. Let's do this one. This is our H block. And we're going to put it on here. Let's say our acrylic blocks, I think, are absolutely superb. I've seen a lot of people who use, and I was one of them when I first started crafting, I used other people's blocks, and to be quite honest, the thickness and the fact that you've got a finger hold, I don't know what it is about it, but it's obviously been designed so well that you get almost like a cushion from this. It just stamps absolutely perfectly. So we are going to ink this up in soft suede, and you can see there is where there's more ink on it and it's more solid. That's sort of the bottom of the birch trees, and then it goes to the top. And we are going to, I'm going to take a little bit of Post-it note because I don't want it to go all the way up to the top. So I'm just going to very simply let's move that out of the way a second. Just going to put the Post-it note. I am eyeballing it rather than doing it absolutely perfectly, but you could line it up perfectly. And we're just going to put it on there so that our when we're stamping, the tree's not going to go right up to the tag. So let's, I turn it sideways because for me it's easier, and we are just going to put one across, ink it up again, and put it across. Like this. Oh, I think 2's may be all right on this one. Am I going to go and try and get one right in that little bit there? I might just try. I don't know whether I'll get it, but let's just try and get one just on the end there. No, missed it completely. Okay, we'll leave it like that. So you basically just run them across. You could put them in the Stamparatus and line them up that way if you wanted to. I was just eyeballing it. Now, to get the birch trees so that they stand out, if you take one of our Stampin' Right markers, you can take our inks and an aqua painter. You can take our Stampin' Right markers, but this is a really quick and easy way to do it. And all we are going to do is to run the Stampin' Right marker down in between on the gaps. So what it does is it allows the trees to pop out. And so we're just going to take this up in between here, and as you can see, it's quite quick. It's quite quick with the blends. Got a bit of a big gap in the middle here, but because it's a tag, it is going to be covered up with a few things. So just bring this up. I'm using the side of the blends because it's, for me, I find it easier than using the point. If I'm doing tiny weeny little images, I use the point. If I'm trying to do the sides, or use larger images, I tend to use the side of the blend. It depends on the space you've got. So let's take this up here. Take it off to the sides. So it's all covered up. As you can see, it's quite quick to do. It doesn't take a huge amount of time. Now, we have got some spaces at the top of the bottom of this, so I'm literally just going to colour those in like that, and then just this little bit on the top. There we go. Okay, so let's take this piece out at the top, and it has given us a relatively, because it's a Stampin' Blends, but a relatively sort of clean white piece at the top. Okay, so now we are going to move that out of the way. We are going to take the framelit, which was the lovely little filigree tree, and I've done this one. You can see it does cut out really easily. Just one pass through the big shot, and then I use I can see this little piece. I use our new Take Your Pick tool because I'm using it for everything, and there's a little pokey piece, and you can get your tiny little pieces out if you want to, which come out fairly easily. So let's take that little bit off so it doesn't sparkle on us. And so we are going to now put this onto the card. So let me just get some Tombow, give it a good shake. And you can use any type of adhesive you want. You can use our double-sided sheets, which are quite good, so you can stick them out. As I've always said, I'm quite comfortable with our wet glue. I tend to use it for absolutely everything, so I don't have a problem using it. And you just literally just need to stroke it. It has got a fairly fine tip on it, so it is fairly easy to use. I'm just going to take it through on the side. You just have to be a little bit gentle with it. Like most crafting, the lighter hand you have, the better it is. Now we're just going to put this from the bottom here in through the centre and just line that up. And I think this glimmer paper just literally gives such a beautiful little sparkle on it. I don't know how well this is going to show on camera, but I think it is absolutely lovely. And then we are going to, and I've done these pieces because I think it'll be easier to show you this way. So we are taking one of the little sprigs and one of the little, I can actually move this out of the way now so you can see it easier on my work surface rather than my scrap paper. Okay, so we're going to take the Merry Little Christmas and we're going to put that through like that. So we need some dimensionals for this, and I'm going to use the minis, which I use a lot because they are so good. So we're going to have one mini on one side and one mini on the other. We're going to that's going to be glued down, the little sprig, and the little fir cone will have a mini on that as well. Now I just wanted to show you with the fir cone, I'm just going to bring the scratch paper back. When you cut it out in Whisper White, just to give it a little bit of definition, I've used the Stampin' blend, which is the light crumb cake again, and I've just gone over the inside of the fir cone. So it just gives it that little bit more detail and makes it stand out just a little bit. So we've now got that. Let's go back to where we were. Okay, so we're going to put this one down. What I want to do before I stick this down is I want to put this down. So we're going to have this straight over the top like that, and then we're going to have this, we're going to have it on top. I think I might have it on top this time because I've got enough room. Yes, I am. Okay, on the last one I cut my sentiment down smaller, so I wanted to tuck the fur underneath. I think I'm going to put both of these pieces up. So we're just going to take it centrally, pop that down on there, and then we're going to take this one's going to be glued down because again I don't want too much dimension. So we're just going to pop this little fir sprig down on here, sticking up like that. And then I might, am I going to put this with a dimensional or not on this one? No, I'm not. It's going to add too much bulk. So this one is also going to be glued on. So you can sort of mix and match as you want it. And then we're just going to tuck this one in on there like that. Just hold it for a second, give it a little bit of a press. So you've got your little fir cone. So if I bring the first one back, you can see this one, I had the sprig tucked under and the little fir cone on top. This one, I've put them both on top because there was a little bit more on there, on the sentiment, to be able to put it down at that side. And then just as a finishing touch, we have some absolutely lovely metallic pearls. and the tiny little, they're in gold and they're in silver, but because they're metallic, they're not overly sparkly, which makes them perfect. They will tone in with the copper tree. So I'm just going to take one of these, and again I'm using my pokey tool to just get it up, and we're just going to put this down. This time I'm going to put it in the center, just on here. So we'll pop it in the center, make sure I've got it. It just seems to be stuck on there. Right, we're going to just have it there, which just adds just a little bit of a finishing touch. And then you can choose whatever ribbon you want to put on. This one, I chose the beautiful Copper and Merry Merlot, and the actual ribbon is called, does it say on here? It's just reversible. Copper and Merry Merlot reversible ribbon. So you can actually use either side of it. But I think it's lovely, and it works beautifully with that. So I'm not going to put the ribbon on this one because you know how to pop ribbons on. But you can tone in any colour you want. So as I say, a lovely tag using the Winterwoods and some of our lovely glimmer paper and metallic pearls. So thank you so much for watching me, and do look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.